This is so much fun. Cool. So again, I'm Crystal. This is my husband, Eric. We own the Dog Psychology and Training Center. We have 2 locations, one in Greenville, South Carolina, and the other is in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And we are streaming live to both Facebook pages for both of those locations. So one camera has funny effects, the other one is just average Joe Schmohawks, that's us.
Which, now that I look at the other one, is probably just as entertaining. With us trying to, like...
Yeah, make all these faces and adjust
do all our
top
things.
hats. Ooh.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
It's freaking out. It can't find a face.
That's funny. Whoa, that's...
This is so much fun, guys.
All right. So, what are we talking about again?
Topics. Today's
dog
topic.
parks.
So, we want your input. Let us know what questions, concerns, curiosities you have about dog parks, doggy daycare, in the comments, and we will address them for you guys in our chats. And also, for our Greenville location, our Greenville, South Carolina dog training page, it's facebook.com/Greenville Dog Training. We are at 999 likes, y'all.
Whoa!
Somebody help a sister out and like this page so we can get to 1,000. It's just one like. Share it. Share this video so that somebody somewhere will help us reach 1,000 likes.
Hopefully somebody likes my shades.
I was trying to adjust my shades. It didn't work. So today's topic, we are going to talk about dog parks versus doggy daycare. Do's and don'ts, concerns, pros and cons, lots of good stuff. So,
What you think?
I had the opportunity to meet with the staff at Noble Dog Hotel, and I was very, very, very impressed with their doggy daycare, their boarding facility, and I just have to say, as a dog trainer and dealing with canine body language and behavior and naughty dog thoughts and seeing what's going to happen before a dog even knows what's happening, and having the opportunity to stop or prevent dog fights or altercations because I can read that body language. For me, dog parks don't give positive outcomes. If you're going to a dog park and your dog's been going for months and nothing's happened, that's great. And I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but we have so many clients contact us whose dogs love dog parks, loved other dogs, was very playful, very sweet, and got attacked at a dog park by one naughty dog. And the owners didn't know it was coming, or obviously they wouldn't have been there, or they would have tried to stop it. Most dog owners don't know how to read canine body language, or if it's like when I take my kids to the park, most parents are like this the whole time. They're on their phone. They're not watching their dogs, just like they're not watching their human children. And when there's a bully on the playground, they don't know because they're just so busy on their device that
They're waiting for a screen.
Yeah, and so that's just, it's not good. They don't have any opportunity to step in and say, stop. Hey, you're being a brat. You're being a bully. Back up. Don't pester that dog. That dog wasn't doing anything wrong. Or, if a dog, whether it's your dog or not, and I'm not saying it's your fault or not your fault, but dogs are just like children. They say that dogs have the average IQ of a 2-year-old. So think about going to a toddler park, a play park that's for all kids, but they have specific toddler parks that are usually fenced in, and just having parents let their kids go without any supervision at a toddler park.
And if none of the adults spoke the same language as the children. Because I'd say that's the case in most dog parks.
That's a good point.
Most average pet owners don't really know how to read all the signals that our dogs are giving us.
Right. And so for kids, for human kids, we even speak their language, and still there's parents on their devices and just not paying attention. And there are kids that get bullied. There are kids that are bullies. And it doesn't mean they're bad kids. It just means they don't have the guidance they need. And that's the parent's responsibility to step in and say, hey, you know what, Raider? That little boy was in front of you in line for the slide. We don't cut in front of him. Or it's not nice when you see somebody walking towards the swing to run in front of them and cut in front of them and get on the swing. Like, that's not very kind. Would you like that if somebody did that to you? Like, we can verbally speak to our human children and tell them these things. but our human children still make bad choices sometimes because they're toddlers. They don't know better. Well, dogs are the same way. They have the average IQ of a 2-year-old, right? So they don't always make good choices. They sometimes make naughty choices. And it doesn't mean they're a bad dog, but if these naughty choices are left unchecked for a really long time, they become bad habits. And bad habits are hard to break. It's not that they can't be broke, but they are harder to break than a 1 or 2 time random occurrence. So with dog parks, imagine a ton of pet parents that don't speak their dog's language, don't know how to read or understand their dog's body language, and then being surprised when there's an altercation or a dog fight breaks out, and then have the poor parents or the poor dog, really, who gets attacked, who loved other dogs but now has some PTSD. And they see other dogs and they just freak. They go in defense mode, they're barking, they're backing away, they become fear aggressive. That's not fair to them. So for dog parks, for me, if we could have a paid public servant, employee, I don't know what you want to call them, that was educated in canine body language, that knew how to read these things, they could interject and maybe coach the parents whose dogs are a little bit more stronger-willed and more bully-ish to say, hey, you know, I think some of these training tips would help if you practice this at home to teach your dog to be more observant to what you're telling him and less concerned with what he thinks is right and wrong because he's got the average IQ of a 2-year-old, he doesn't really know. All of these things, to have that person there to maintain a homeostatic or what is it?
Homeostasis?
Homeostasis, thank you, of the dog park to prevent those peaks, right? Like if they could just keep an even keel of energy level, like that would be great. I would love dog parks, but unfortunately we don't have that. And I would never take my dogs to a dog park. Never. What I do is have play dates with friends that I know their dogs, I think they would mesh well with my dogs, and then we can have play dates. But even then, I have friends that have dogs that I don't think would mesh well with my dogs. That doesn't mean they're bad dogs, doesn't mean my dogs are bad dogs, it just means they're just not gonna fit well. Just like some kids don't get along well. Doesn't mean they're bad kids, they're just not meant to play with each other. That's okay. So to have those confined, controllable play groups where you're both understanding what's going on, you're both watching your dogs play, that to me, that's a great win-win. If you don't have that opportunity or you want your dog to have more socialization, that's usually the main reason people go to dog parks is for that socialization, then I recommend and I promote doggy daycare. So like I was saying at the beginning of the video, we were just at the Noble Dog Hotel, and I loved what I saw. I loved the coexistence of dogs together. I loved how they redirected those dogs that were a bit stronger willed or maybe a bit pushy and showed them like, no, he was telling you to give me some space, so let's honor this. Let's back up and give him his space, and teaching those dogs how to coexist and play harmoniously without tipping that scale to making one dog become reactive or defensive because this dog just kept nagging and nagging and nagging, and finally this dog's like, woof, get away, and then this dog's like, oh, you don't tell me what to do, and then that's not good. So I love that at Noble Dog. They were very in tune to the canine body language that was being spoken. They were there to redirect and intervene, and they weren't pointing fingers. Like if a dog was kind of pushy, because I have one of those kids. When I first took my daughter to a park, she's 5, she's very introverted, she's very quiet, she's very caring, very loving, very thoughtful, and she was the kid that like at the top of the slide when all the kids are waiting in line, 5, 6, 7 people would cut in front of her before one kid would say, here, you were here first, go ahead, and let her go down because she was so sweet. She just was like, oh, you want to, okay. Is it mine? Oh, you want to go? Okay, go ahead. Oh, okay, go ahead. And then I had my son, and I had the opposite end of the spectrum. He was the kid that's like at the end of the slide.
Walking on other children's face.
No, he doesn't do that. He's at the end of the slide. He's not me. I don't want to make him like a bad kid. He thanks for Raider. It's all about Raider, and it's not that he's selfish. That's how he's geared. That's how he's wired. So he's the kid at the end of the slide, waiting in line at the end of the line, and he just walks to the front and just cuts in front of everybody, not thinking that might hurt other kids' feelings. Like he just doesn't think about that. That's our job as parents. So I really love that Noble Dog. They weren't, pointing those fingers at those naughty dogs and saying they can't be here or whatever. But they were just like, oh, we understand you. We get it. Here, let me show you how to be polite. Let me show you how to share. And so I think doggy daycares, if you can find, and there's a lot of them out there, if you can find a good doggy daycare, they do a couple different things. One, they manage their dogs. They promote that homeostasis within the play group, and then they also encourage rest times, and rest time is so important for dogs. Again, go back to the average IQ of a toddler, right? So they have the average IQ of a toddler. Imagine a toddler playing for 4 to 8 hours straight. That's crazy. Of course, at the end of that 4 hours, you're going to have some grumpy toddlers that escalate that playing, right? There's going to be some slapping, there's going to be some punching, there's going to be some tears, some
They might
tantrums.
even bite you.
They
really might bite you.
Toddlers do bite. But that's the same thing with dogs, right? So to promote those rest times and then to advocate for those dogs that want to rest, and as dogs come up to approach him and this dog's just chilling by himself, to say, no, he's resting, you don't need to play with him right now, unless you want to lay with him, that's fine, but if you don't, move on, find another dog who wants to play. That is super important. So I know a lot of people pay daycares for their dogs to go play, and they just want them to play, so they get tired when they get home. But there's a difference between playing all day and coming home and being grumpy or building up the stamina to play more versus having controlled playtime and then controlled rest time. It's still equally mentally stimulating if it's a controlled rest time. Dogs need those breaks just like toddlers need their breaks. And then to have controlled playtime and then controlled rest time. So I think it's a factor to have both involved with a good daycare.
For sure.
What's some other points that we have?
Let's not even talk about what happens if dogs get into a scuffle at a dog park or at a cake. Well, I guess I was saying let's not talk about it but we could talk about it. I was just saying, But if a dog gets into a scuffle at a dog park, like who knows how to break this up? Are dogs wearing leashes? Are people just sticking their arms in there? Like, what's going on? This could be ugly. This could be bad news.
So that's a great point too. At a dog park, most people don't know how to safely break up a dog fight. I mean, most dog trainers, I shouldn't say most, but some dog trainers don't even know how to break up a dog fight. And so it does take a very special knowledge base to safely go in and break up a dog fight without hurting yourself or hurting other dogs, and making it a safe separation. So that is a great point. At the dog park, nobody's going to know how to do that. And like Eric said, they're going to be putting arms in there. They're going to be grabbing the dogs, which is going to have some redirected aggression onto the humans, and then makes you part of the fight. And it's just not good. It's not good. And again, most people don't leave their leashes on their dogs because they don't want them to get caught on something as they're running, which I get. You don't want your dog to get hurt on the neck. But again, if there was a dog fight to break out and you had a leash on your dog, it's very easy to pull them apart and separate them safely so that no humans have to become involved with the fight. Versus at a daycare, they should have some trained staff on how to separate dog fights safely. If they do have them, which, I mean, even the best daycares, even the best trainers have dogs make bad decisions, and sometimes we can watch them all day long and not see it coming, and it just happens. So again, it's not pointing fingers at anybody, but just knowing that having a staff that's educated in canine body language and behavior and safe canine handling can be very beneficial to know that your dog is in the safest hands. If something like this was to break out, which is pray it never does, but if it was, you know that there are people there that are skilled, knowledgeable, and can safely break it up. And so that, again, is just another encouraging thing for me for doggy daycare, that you have that option, you have that safety, you have that peace of mind. Another point I think we should mention is that dogs don't need to play with other dogs. They have been domesticated with thousands of years to become pets of family units. So if you have a multi-dog household, you'll see the dogs play with the other dogs, and you'll see the dogs play with the kids, right? Dogs become a part of your family. So if you don't have other dogs, and let's say you don't have children, you still are your dog's pet. Quality versus quantity, right? So if you work long days and you get home and you spend that quality time mentally engaging with your dog, that doesn't mean just going out for a walk and not talking to your dog, not engaging your dog, not stimulating your dog, but in mentally engaging games like fetch or a controlled tug or a search and find game at home. There's so many things you can do with your dog to have that quality relationship time spent, so your dog doesn't feel like it needs to play with other dogs. Dogs don't need that. They've been domesticated for so long, and some dogs don't like it. I mean, again, think about dogs as toddlers, right? Toddlers all have their different personalities. Some are introverted, some are extroverted. Some like to go and play with other kids. Some really don't. They'd rather just kind of stand back and watch. And that's okay, too. So if you have a dog that's more introverted or maybe more cocky, bully-ish, maybe he shouldn't be around other dogs because, one, he may not like it. He might be uncomfortable, and that's what kind of makes him a little bit of a bully because he's defensive. He doesn't know how to react. He's like, go away, bark! And then he's going to, bark and react. So not all dogs need this. Not all dogs want this. Don't force it on them. Make sure it's something they enjoy and not something that you're doing just to make you feel good. Like, oh, I took him to the dog park today and I feel great. Because she may not like that. And that's okay.
Pay attention to your dogs. I mean, your dogs are probably telling you if they really enjoy it or if they're totally miserable and uncomfortable.
Yeah. So you know your dogs better than anyone else. So listen to them. Cool. Do we have any questions so far? Looks like we have some stuff.
Yeah. Deb says, great points, and she called us both silly, which I said, you're silly. These are our serious faces.
Is it on the silly hat one or the regular
No,
faces?
on the regular one.
Well, that's why.
She has no idea. I told you.
You haven't seen the cool video.
I told you. She's probably enjoying it more than the silly hat people. Because
We've kept the hat on and the glasses on the whole time in the other video.
Which, honestly, I don't know.
Cover one eye.
I don't know if we could have gotten rid of it if we wanted to, from the looks of it. So they're stuck with the shades and the hats.
I was trying to see if I covered up one eye, if it would take the hat away. It did at first, and now Facebook's on to me. Now it's not. I'm not fooling them, but unless I do.
It should have given me an eye patch. Is what it should have done.
Oh, I wonder if that's another feature. So, yeah.
Stay tuned. Next week we're pirates.
Arr, matey.
Arr.
When we went to San Diego in September, they have like Pirate Week. And there is nothing but pirates walking around San Diego. It was pretty awesome. And they have some pretty cool rustic-looking pirate ships that the pirates were flocking to. We were really embarrassed that we were not dressed up as pirates. And we did not pack any pirate gear.
We didn't take any of our pirate gear to San Diego. Who would have thought we would have needed
everybody has
pirate
gear. We should have just took it. But we didn't know, guys. We didn't know San Diego. We're sorry.
I left my peg leg at home.
I left my bird, my blind parrot Jack, sits on my shoulder. But it was cool. It was cool. So, yeah, I hope that clarified some things, some differences about why we prefer doggy daycares versus dog parks, and how to find a good doggy daycare that fits you and your dog's needs, why you do not have to take your dog to a dog park, and why we don't encourage you to do that. And, yeah, so if you have any questions we didn't answer, just put them in the comments and we can respond and answer them for you, or make a short little video to answer it. And we hope to see you guys next week at our next Facebook Live. So for those of you that didn't get the special fun effects this week, you're going to get them next week. So be here or be square. And I think we changed the time of our Facebook Lives to Thursdays. Imagine that right now. Ha! So stay tuned for next week. It's not going to be on Friday. It's going to be on Thursday. We announced it Friday. I know. I'm just saying. Okay. Not everybody saw that. Okay. Not everybody in the world. That's true. So. I thought you were kind of saying it like we didn't tell you. Surprise! We did mention it, but it's good to remind for those who weren't present. They are now every Thursday at 12 p.m. What else are we supposed to remind them? Subscribe. Let me just for once and for all. I really didn't want to know because I like. It doesn't give me the option to subscribe, but it could be because I am live. You're you. I'm doing this right now. I don't know how to subscribe, so that's interesting. I think it's in the right corner. Look at it's glitchy. You froze on a funny face, and my face is like half melting. It's melting. It's melting. I think it's on the right side as you're looking at your device. It's frozen. I don't know what to do with it. This is fun. It's very delayed too. So, I I hope the sound's not delayed. That would be weird.
I hope
So
not to.
subscribe any which way you can. The benefits to subscribing is that you don't miss us next time we go live, and you'll have opportunities to post questions and help us choose our next topic. So stay with us. We'd love to see you next week. I'm Crystal.
And I'm the other guy.
This is my husband, Eric. And we are at the Dog Psychology and Training Center, and we hope to see you guys next week. Bye!
See ya.
Oh yeah, hats on, hats off, hats on, hats off, hats on, hats off. What if I try to take the hats off? Take the hats off. This is fun, guys. I'm sorry if we're freaks to you.
This is fun. This is cool.
It is really fun. I'm really enjoying this. What if I look way back?
I think this is
There it is.
why people are on like
I lost my hat. Oh, there it
the
is.
Snapchat or
Yeah?
those.
Yeah?
I think
Do they do these?
yeah, some of those.
Well, why do we need to do
stuff
it now?
like
Because
this.
Facebook does it.
Yeah, so forget all those other apps. Just delete
Guys,
them off
y'all,
your phone.
I have enough problem figuring out Facebook Live. I don't want to open up. Is it Instagram
There's a Instagram.
or Snapchat different?
Snapchat's
See,
different.
I don't want to know.
And I think Snapchat does all the weird
funny
cat
videos?
faces and stuff. So I guess I can kind of see why all those goofy people do the videos, because once you
They're fun. They are really fun. I'll give you that.
Once you put the hat on, you can't take the hat off. We can't even stop the video now.
I know. I don't want to.
And
It's so much fun.
we'll be here until next Thursday at 12.
I'm so glad
Just
the kids aren't here for this one
playing with
because
the
they would
hats.
want to do Facebook Live every.
They're gonna start
Every
skipping
5
school
minutes,
if they catch wind
right?
of this.
They'll be so upset to know that we had cool effects this time. So, all right, final goodbyes. Adios.
I can't go.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
No.
I don't know how to stop it. Oh, there it is.